Welcome to the Infidelity Doctor channel. My name is Dr. Talal Al-Salim, and this is the Ask Dr. Talal segment. Your place to ask me anything you want to know about affair recovery and affair prevention. Please remember, this is not a substitute for the counseling that you're supposed to be getting. This is merely a place for you to get some basic questions answered, and a place for you to learn about my clinical insights when it comes to affair recovery and affair prevention. So before we get to the question of the week, make sure that you like the video and subscribe to the channel so that you can get the most recent updates. So the question of the week is as follows. I found out that my husband is on a dating app for men. What should I do? I'm sorry that you have discovered that. There's another video on the channel that addressed different aspect of this, which is, what do you do when you discover that your partner is having an affair with somebody from the same sex? Now, in regard to this question, all what you discovered is that your husband is in a dating app for men. We don't really know how far this went, but I would argue that it's already meeting the threshold of infidelity, because why would you be having a dating app with anyone, whether it's same sex or opposite sex, if you're in a committed relationship? So we have a threshold for infidelity, especially if your relationship contract required emotional and sexual exclusivity. So what needs to happen, this issue should not be ignored. This issue needs to be dealt with directly, needs to be brought up to his attention so that the two of you can figure out what does this mean, why did this happen, and what does this mean to the sustainability of your future relationship with one another. So this is the part where I kind of zoom out, talk a little bit about the causes of infidelity. So there are three different categories of etiology or causes when it comes to infidelity. There are relationship factors, and this usually has to do with a relationship deficit that people experience with one another. There are individual factors that has nothing to do with the relationship and has to do with the unfaithful and the issues that they needed to deal with individually. And there is environmental factors. So, and again, each case of infidelity is different. Some affairs are caused by one or more categories, and some is, one from each category. So it just depends on the situation. So this might be a case of an individual issue related to sexual identity and orientation. Now, whether your husband is curious, bi-curious, or identify as a gay man, that this is something that he need to explore and address in individual counseling. Because when people have confusion about their sexual identity, that stuff doesn't go away. You cannot sweep it under the rug. And again, in terms of what would be the outcome of the individual counseling, it's really a clearer understanding of his identity and whether or not this identity can allow the two of you to continue having a healthy, fulfilling relationship without resentment. The only situation where I've seen maybe a pathway for people to continue having their relationship when their partner sexual identity is changed or rediscovered, if the identity falling within bi-curious, bisexual, meaning that maybe there is a way for the two of you to continue having a fulfilling sexual intimacy if the two of you have changed how you go about having the sexual intimacy. Some people, rely on the use of toys and other materials to help fulfill some of those sexual desires that fall into the category of bi-curiosity. And some people decide to change their relationship contract. Now, this is kind of tricky, because if, you were signing up for an exclusive and emotionally and sexually exclusive relationship with your partner, you should not change that exclusivity because you don't have another choice, because that's going to lead to resentment. But more importantly, if the sexual identity is very well defined and paints a picture of that your husband is identifying as a gay man, I don't think there's going to be a future for the two of you to rebuild this relationship unless he is willing to deny who he is, or if you're willing to open up the relationship, which is not advisable since that's not the relationship that you signed up for. Long story short, first step that needs to be taken is bringing it up to the open. The second step is to really get a better clarity of what kind of sexual identity we're dealing with. And 3, deciding on whether or not this identity is going to be a deal breaker for the two of you to continue this relationship. It's also important to make sure that you request a health screening and an STI screening for the two of you to make sure that you're not dealing with an additional consequences of infidelity of contracting an STI. Hopefully this answered the question of the week. Feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below about the answer that you heard today, as well as suggestions of questions that you'd like to see me answer in future videos. Until then, be well, be safe, and embrace the possibility for a brighter future. Take care.